Recap of Wednesday, September 23. Today in class we talked about equivalent fractions, and this is help for IXL F2. So the first screen that we talked about was that equivalent fractions are the same picture sliced into different amounts of sizes. So the first one that we see here is a complete circle that is cut into two parts and half of it shaded. The second circle is the same size, same amount shaded, but it's cut into four parts and two of those are shaded. So to help with IXL, we looked at the problem right from IXL, 3/4 equals what eighths? And so I'm just going to solve that like we did in class. 3/4 equals what eighths? And we talked about that 4 times something is equal to 8. 4 times 2 is equal to 8, so then we have to multiply the numerator also by 2, and then we get 6. The next problem that we looked at was a little different form. It had our missing number was over 5, and that is equal to the fraction 6/10. So then we thought 5 times what is equal to 10. So 5 times 2 is equal to 10. So we kind of had to work backwards here and think what number times 2 is equal to 6. So 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So the answer in this case would be a 3. And by then we discussed in class that there was a pattern, that this was times 2 and this was times 2. The numerator times 2, or denominator times 2, then numerator times 2, that had to be the same or it would change the picture. Next example was kind of interesting. It could be a little bit confusing the way that it looked. It was because the 3 was in the denominator on one side and the numerator on the other, so 1/3 equals 3, and then we had to find that denominator of the second equivalent fraction. One times 3 equals 3, so we have to do the same thing here. 3 times 3 is equal to 9. And again, we're going to highlight that this times 3 is the same for the numerator and the denominator. And then we finally had one more problem in IXL, and that was, instead of fill in the blank, it was multiple choice. 2/5 is equal to one of those fractions, equivalent fractions. And if we compare the 2 to the 5, it's a little less than half of 5, and 1 is nowhere near half of 7. Then we discussed that we're probably going to have some multiplier. 5 times something is 3, or 3 times something is 5, and that is going to be kind of messy. It's not going to be a whole number, and this IXL lesson probably doesn't have fractions like that. Same with the 2 and the 5. Looking at this 2 right here compared to that 5, it's not going to be a good multiplier from 5 to 2. It's going to be a fraction. So we're going to eliminate this one and then just test this one out. So I'm going to just rewrite this. 2/5 is equal to 4/10. So let's figure out what the multiplier is. 5 times 2 equals 10. 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And so that was the help with IXL. Then we went and worked on IXL F2 for a while. And if you've got that finished and you want to move on, you may do that. The other thing that I'm going to show you that you may have missed out on today is right here. So let me go back to, here's our agenda for the day. We did go to Flipgrid mixed tape, and when we did that, we could see the videos that got sent in Flipgrid, the Hi, My Name Is. And so you can click on any of the pictures that come up, videos, the faces, and then you could hear them pronounce their name. So these are all the people in the classes that we share. So I'm going to close that out. That's one thing that you can do to catch up with what we did. We just watched them. There wasn't really an assignment there. And then finally, getting ready for tomorrow, we went to classwork and went to how many uses. And just a quick review, you've got points for joining our classroom. We've done our Flipgrid, My Name Is. We worked on IXL F2. These are all assignments that are going to show up in Student View. And then we did how many uses. And if you click right here, if you've already done this assignment, you're going to get this message right here. It's going to say you've already responded. If you haven't done it yet, you're going to see a picture of a frying pan. And the question is, how many uses can you come up with? And you can be creative. If you can come up with 3 or 5 or 10, just list them and then hit submit. And that is it for what we did today on Wednesday, September 23rd.